Hey guys, guess what? I just started a new knitting project. I know you're gonna say I already have a knitting project, but hear me out. If you have been following along with my recent Friday videos, you will know that me and my current knitting project maybe need a little bit of a break, a little bit of a reset. I just need a little bit of a reset. And I think that you will all agree that now is the perfect time to cast on for something new. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Felicia from SweetGeorgia, and this is Taking Back Friday. This is a space where we come every Friday and we talk about something to do with knitting or spinning or weaving or dyeing. I talk a lot about how important it is to make time to make things. And I have been making a lot of things lately. Somebody actually left a lovely comment on my video last week saying that you sure do make a lot of things. And I guess I really do. I do appreciate everyone's comments from last week's video. They were so encouraging, and it was just so wonderful to know that you've all been there before and that I'm not alone in making mistakes with the things that I make. But in any case, I have been making a lot of things. If you follow my Low Meets Loom Instagram account at all, it's my weaving Instagram account where I just post just about weaving. You'll see that I'm actually working on a couple of things right now. I'm working on a croak brag project on the shacked baby wolf loom, and I'm also working on a twill gamp here on the spring loom. And I also have this waffle weave project that I'm working on, but I just have to pick colors for the warp before I can wind the warp, before I can then make it. So everything right now is just dependent on making some decisions about colors and things like that. So right now I'm in a bit of a spinning phase as well. So those rollags that I made from a couple of weeks ago in one of the videos, I've taken all those rollags and I'm starting to spin them all. I'm spinning them all with long draw using my Saxony wheel, and I'll be showing that in a video probably in the next couple of weeks as well. But with knitting, I have several projects on the go. And I know that for a while there, I had really tried to be a monogamous knitter and knit only one project at a time. And then, sort of things started to creep up in terms of context, when you want to knit certain projects. And so it was like, oh, well, I need something to knit in the car, or I need something to knit while I'm watching soccer practice. I need something, a small something, blah, blah, blah. So it became that I added on a sock project, and then another sock project, and then a hand spun sock project. And then I needed a stockinette sweater, and then I wanted to knit a lace sweater. And just all of these things started to build up to the point where I now have several unfinished knitting projects right now, but that will not deter me. I think it's pretty obvious I like to start new projects. I like trying a lot of different things. I have a lot of different ideas, and it's very difficult to sometimes contain yourself from just, starting all the different projects. I know it doesn't get me to the finish line that effectively, but I like to try a lot of different things. And right now in Vancouver, it's the start of this beautiful, sunny spring season. There's cherry blossoms everywhere. It's a big thing here. Right now, I just feel like I want to be knitting something a little bit springier, something fresh, something new, something lighter. And it doesn't mean that I have abandoned the colorwork cardigan. I'm still working on that. I'm still going to be crunching away on that in the background. I just need to rotate a little bit, like I need a win. So you may or may not know that we have just started the annual SweetGeorgia Make-Along that happens every springtime. So it's the annual SweetGeorgia Spring Make-Along. And usually every year it's pretty much lace themed. That's always been sort of historically what we've been doing a lot of in the springtime, just because we're thinking about things that are lighter weight, lacier. It just seems the right time to be knitting a lot of lace projects. And so our make-along started this past week. April 13th is the cast on date, and it continues all the way until May 11th. So if this is something that you would like to join us on, I really welcome you to join us with this make-along. Basically, you just cast on something on or after April 13th. So it could be today. And then you just knit on this project until May 11th, and then hopefully you will have finished that. So with all our make-alongs, we do a draw, we do some giveaways, we do some prizes at the end of the whole thing, and you get extra entries into that prize draw if you've done things like knit with a lace yarn or knit with a lace pattern. So it's all celebration of things to do with lightweight lace stuff. So if you are at all interested in joining the make along, you can definitely join us in the discussion group that's happening right now in the School of Sweet Georgia. And so to get access to the discussion group for the make along, it's totally free. You can sign up with the link below. It is schoolofsweetgeorgia.com/join/make along with a hyphen in between. And if you go to that link, you can basically sign up and you will get access to the discussion forum that's happening for the make along. Also, midway through the make along, we're going to be hosting a Zoom meetup that's going to be hosted by one of our School of Sweet Georgia moderators. It's Vicky. She normally hosts the spinning and weaving meeting that happens once a month, but Vicky also knits, she also dyes, she does punch needles, she just does every kind of fiber art. And so we really welcome you to join us for that Zoom meetup so that you guys can show each other what you're making, show each other your progress, and just, have a nice meetup and knit together for that day. It's going to be actually on Saturday, May the 1st from 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time to about 1:30 or so, depending on how long everybody stays and wants to hang out and chat and all that. So if you are in the mood for something new and something lacy, Tabitha did just recently release a brand new shawl pattern. It's a lace shawl pattern, triangle shawl from the top down. You basically start with like just 3 stitches or something like that, and then you just expand out into this beautiful triangle. And she's knit 2 samples. One of the samples is in Magician, which is kind of like a layered, very tonal, light purpley kind of color. And then the other one, she knit the same shawl pattern, but in a different yarn. And so she knit it in this one. This is the new sock blank that we've just put out in the Petal colorway. So I'm gonna take this apart for you so you can see what it looks like, even though it's so nicely packaged. So this is the sock blank that is called Petal. So you can see it unravels from the green end, and you just unravel until you get to the pink. And so depending on how you want to work this, you could basically knit straight from the sock blank and knit it into a triangle shawl pattern. Just keep knitting until you run out of yarn, or you can wind this into a ball so that way you can access the pink end and start from the pink edge first, whichever one you like. But basically this is a sock blank which has been hand dyed in order so that you can knit something into a gradient. So that is a project. If you're looking for something to knit right now, something springy, Petal. It's pretty springy. Now, just a reminder that if you are interested in learning how to knit lace or lace techniques, learning how to read lace charts, all of these kinds of things, Tabitha actually put together a course called Become a Lace Knitter. And she also came out with 2 new lace tutorials. So all of those things are available on the School of Sweet Georgia. So I will link to them below. So if that's something that you're interested in learning more about this year, learning how to knit lace, you can check out those resources. So I'm going to show you what I decided to cast on for the lace make along. But basically I am going to be knitting this pattern. It's called Laia, and it's designed by Isabel Kramer. I love her designs. I've knit at least one of them, Chauncey. That was a sweater that I knit last summer, I think. And I love that sweater. Her instructions are quite easy to follow. I liked how my sweater fit. It was a top-down yoke sweater. So same idea here. This is also a top-down yoke sweater, but the yoke is lace. It's not color work. It's going to be lace. So Isabel Kramer originally designed the pattern to be knit with a yarn called Pasquale Puno, which is a fingering weight yarn that is 70-30 cotton and alpaca. So that's a very interesting blend, cotton and alpaca. Kind of cool, kind of warm. There's also another option where you can knit it with Manos Fino, which is also a 70-30 blend. That's merino yarn and silk. I have chosen to knit it with a yarn that is our yarn. It's Sweet Georgia Flaxen Silk Fine. And so that's a yarn that's 65% silk and 35% linen. And again, it's in a fingering weight. It's quite a light fingering weight. So there's about 480 yards per skein here. It's actually quite a lot. And so what I'm hoping is that I can squeeze out this t-shirt kind of sweater in just 2 skeins of yarn, because that's all that we had on the shelf. And I didn't want to have to like dye more. So that's what we had. We had 2 skeins. And I was like, can I squeeze a sweater out of 2 skeins of yarn? So that is what I'm going to try doing here. Because for a long time, I've seen, Charlotte and Teresa, they both have their summer sweaters that they wear at the studio. We used to have a studio that had no air conditioning, and so they could still wear these flaxen silk sweaters in no air conditioning conditions. And I have never had a summer sweater. All of my sweaters are all wool. So it's like, this is the year I'm going to do it. So with the lace yoke, it looks a little bit like the Love Note sweater that was designed by Tin Can Knits, but the Love Note sweater is 2 yarns held together. It's like a fingering weight and a cobweb mohair lace weight that are being held together, and it produces a bit more of a heavier weight yarn. In this case, this sweater is designed for fingering weight. It looks like fingering gauge all the way through. So I'm thinking with this particular yarn, because it's a little bit of a finer fingering weight, it doesn't fill in, and because it's not wool, it doesn't like bloom and expand to fill holes and things like that. It's got already a little bit of a lacy, gauzy look to it. It is being knit up in this sort of fingering weight gauge. You can see it's going to be a little bit see-through. You can see my lovely stitch marker there that Laia made for me a couple years ago. It's a little tiny teacup. It's sparkly and it has like a little tiny mini slice of lemon inside. It's the most adorable thing ever. So I cast on for the sweater last night, and this is how much I have knit so far. So basically, again, it is top down. This will go over my head. I swear it fits. I swear it fits. This side is thicker than this side. This is the front edge. This is the back of the sweater. And so the back is a little bit longer because I'm working short rows in order to extend the back. It's the same with my other sweater that I knit by Isabel Kramer as well. She just does short rows at the top of the back, and then she does a few more short rows after the yoke just to extend the back so it's a little bit longer so it doesn't ride up the back when you're wearing it. So all of these things I feel like have contributed to better fit. So yeah, with these particular short rows, she is asking us to knit German short rows, which I had never knit before, I don't think. But it's very quick and it's very efficient. There's no wrapping, and it makes for a nice, tight, really nice and even looking short row. I don't know, it's really compact. Yeah, I like it. It's just almost completely, you can't tell where the short rows are, which is great. So right now I'm just in that step where I am knitting like 5 rounds of stockinette, and then I have to do another increase round to make this thing bigger. And then after that, I basically start the lace yoke. So I should have a lot of quick progress, hopefully very soon. And then after that, once you finish the lace yoke, then it's straight stockinette for the body. The sleeves, because they are short sleeves, I don't actually have to knit any sleeves. I basically just pick up the stitches that are going to be left from the yoke for the sleeve and then just knit like 1/2 inch of ribbing, and then it's done. So I'm hoping that this one will be a quick knit if all goes well. So that is basically it for today. I'm going to go work on my sweater now, but I would love to hear about if you have cast on anything brand new for spring because of the change in seasons. I would love to know if you have joined us for the Sweet Georgia Spring Make-Along, and if you're in the discussion there, I would love to hear from you. We would also love to see your photos up on Instagram. So if you're posting anything from the Make-Along, you can use the hashtag SGY Spring MAL 2021. SGY Spring Mal 2021. And again, if you guys are interested in learning anything about lace or lace knitting techniques, how to read a lace pattern, how to read a lace chart, you can find all of those resources over in the School of Sweet Georgia. So that is basically it for today. Thank you so much for being here. If you like this episode, please do hit the like button, give us a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more content like this, please do hit subscribe. And we come here every Friday to talk about something to do with color and craft and things that make us happy. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you in the next one. All right, bye for now.